Hello, everybody. We are going to kick this off. I'm so excited to have you guys on the call. Let's get it pulled up. And don't forget, I know we can't see your faces, but there is a chat window if you guys want to just go ahead and share or ask any questions in the chat window. Here we go. All right. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and start. Actually, we'll give it another minute for everybody to get on. Again, the chat window is there for you guys, and I'll make sure to check it at the end so we can answer any questions. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start. So thank you for joining the Premier Push. We should have all of you added to the Facebook group by now. And today we're going to go through our first call, which is going to help you to really schedule yourself for success as you go through this push period to help push your business to the next level. So let's go through really quickly. When we talk about what really matters and what you're dedicating your time to in this business, I want to make sure that we are narrowing that down to the stuff that matters most. A lot of times people, we have other things going on. Some people are working additional jobs, or, you have a certain amount of time that you're dedicating towards this business. And I want to make sure that when you're working your business, that you're doing the things that really will help you to propel forward, right? And get the most out of the time that you're spending, right? So these, your time, then the stuff that matters most include new appointments, right? Retention appointments, which are when you're talking to people about the loyalty rewards program, creating a wish list for them, helping them to learn how to use their wholesale account. The third area is recruiting appointments. So this is when you're sitting down to expose people to the business opportunity. Also, coaching appointments for yourself. So during this time period, as you're watching these videos, this is going to be the time that you're dedicating towards that coaching, right? You might spend some time with your mentor practicing the things that we go over or completing your assignments. And that's what I want you to schedule as for this next series for the time that you're spending on coaching. Also, we want to make sure that you have time dedicated to actually schedule the appointments and get them on your calendar, right? The worst thing we can have is an empty calendar. So we want a calendar that's filled with new appointments, recruiting appointments, retention appointments. And so we have to allocate time to actually set those up, right? And then we need to know who we're going to call and with what purpose. So 2 activities that I would recommend for you guys to do initially is to look at your dashboard, right? As you log into your doTERRA back office, you can click on your dashboard in your back office section. And at the bottom, it will show you a full list of all the people you have ever enrolled in doTERRA. So what I would do is copy and paste those into an Excel document or onto just a note section where you can print it off. And I want you to look at every single one of those people and say, what's the next step for them, right? Is the next step for me to set up a retention appointment with them, right? And go through their account. Maybe you missed that, or maybe you haven't done that with them. Is the next step to expose them and ask them if they have any interest in creating an income with doTERRA, right? Is the next step maybe to ask them to host a class for you, right? And let them know about your referral program. Is the next step, to just touch base with them and nurture them and make sure they're getting the education that they need, right? So identify what that is so that you know how you're going to reach out to that person to set up the next step appointment. Now, we also want to make sure that we're continually talking to people and having those new people that we're able to enroll. So one of the things that I love to do, there's an amazing document that I'll download to our Facebook group called From Network Marketing Pro from Eric Worre, and it's called the Memory Jogger. And you can, this is actually in the file section of our Diamonds in the Making page also. But what you can do with this document is it helps you to think about people you haven't put on your list yet, right? We always want to brain dump people onto a list, right? It doesn't mean they have to be people that you think will say yes to anything, right? But we want to just put everybody we know onto a piece of paper so that we have something to work with. So a lot of times I'll leverage my phone and my contacts there. I'll leverage all my social media accounts of who I'm following, who's following me. I'll also use that list to kind of think about people within those circles that I work in or spend time in that would be good contacts for me. And then, of course, every day I'm looking to add to my list. So that could come from you being around people at your kids' sports or at work or at a networking group or, through maybe your church organization. It could also be people that if you have a social media online presence, it could be people that you're meeting through that, right? But how are you connecting with people to add to your list? Now, it doesn't mean you're automatically the very next moment going to talk to people about our products or our business opportunity. It just means you're establishing connection with people. I can't tell you how many times that always transitions. Or a lot of times it transitions into people asking about my product or us discussing the business. But, you have to feel out the right time. And if we don't establish those connections and that relationship first, then that's when we don't get the answers that we want, truthfully. So, we want to look at who we already know. We want to look at the connections we can make through the people we already know. And then we want to continually be adding to that list so that we can keep a full calendar, okay? And that our life is more joyful that way. So the things that do not matter, right? It does not matter for you to continue to check your website to see if sales have appeared, right? It's not going to help you to spend all your time and get sucked into the world of social media if it isn't leading to some sort of appointment. So I try to be very intentional when I go on social media that I'm going on for a specific purpose, right? And then I'm getting off. And I get sucked in too. We all do. And I have to say to myself, is this leading to an appointment? If not, get off, right? And there might be times at night before I go to bed that I just kind of scroll through just to catch up on everybody. But I try not to live there, right? Because that can be a huge distraction. Another thing is that a lot of times I see people spending way too much time just trying to make graphics and images. Just use something like Canva or WordSwag, which are apps that you can download that can take you 2 minutes most, right, to create an image that you're wanting to try to communicate. So just be careful that you don't get bogged down in spending too much time on those things because, again, they're not producing income for you. So what I want you to do as one of our first activities is I want you to right now, not right now because obviously you're listening, but when we get off the call, one of the things I want you to be clear about is scheduling out what you're doing right now. Not what you need to be doing, but take a good look and have some awareness and be honest with yourself about what you're actually doing right now. How are you allocating your time? And then I want you to look at that list and say, okay, this needs to go and this can stay, right? So that you have a really clear picture of what your work hours are, right? And when you can actually set up appointments in those core income producing areas. So we may not be as productive as we think we are, right? Especially if we're thinking about doTERRA all the time. It doesn't mean we're necessarily producing anything, right? Or that's resulting in something that's going to matter for our business, but it can exhaust us to feel like we're thinking about it all day. And then it's frustrating when nothing is coming from it, right? So don't confuse busy with productive, right? So this is a really good exercise to do to help you see clearly what things you can eliminate that you're wasting time on, not even just with doTERRA, but in your life, right? Things that are distractions. And you can identify sections of your time where you can allocate some dedicated time to working your doTERRA business. So when we look at foundations for productivity, we want to make sure we have established work hours. I know some people here, you have another job or maybe you have kids at home that you're with all day. And so you've got to set some time that you're working and also creating some boundaries around when you're working and when you're not working. And that will help you to be really present in your life with whatever you're doing. And that's going to help you to, when you're present with whatever you're doing, you're going to get better results. Whether that's spending 25 minutes with your child playing a game and you're not distracted by your phone every 5 minutes, or if it's sitting in front of your computer in your dedicated workspace, getting 25 minutes of productive time setting appointments, right? Or doing a wellness consult. So I just want to make sure you guys look at that calendar and say, where can I establish some work hours? Routines are also extremely important, just like when we have babies and we put them in routines immediately, because people thrive in routines. They love routine. It simplifies. It gives us the ability to know what to expect. And our family knows what to expect also. They know when we're working and when we're available. We also want to make some buffers for ourselves when we're setting appointments so that we don't set it so tight that we have no room if something goes over, or like maybe we actually need to eat something in between appointments or whatever. So give yourself a little bit of extra time. I know a lot of people are trying to fit doTERRA in the nooks and crannies of their life, but let me tell you, when you do that, it can be exhausting and non-productive because, again, it's on your mind all the time, but what are you actually accomplishing? So it's better if you see where you have windows of time that you can dedicate that as a work time where you get 25 minutes dedicated toward a specific income producing activity of those things that matter most that were on the list, right? If you have a dedicated workspace, that helps you to stay organized, right? Some people it's in their closet, okay? I don't care where it is. But if you can have a dedicated workspace, that's ideal because all your stuff can be together and you can get in your zone of genius when you're sitting in that area, right? It's like your body and mind automatically go into it's time to work. And then, of course, childcare. If you can have some childcare during the time that you want to have that focus time, that's ideal. And I don't think I need to really go into that. We all know how distracting that can be. But I loved, even before I could afford to have somebody take care of my kids, I would do play dates. I would set up those types of trades with people during the times that I had dedicated towards working hours. So hopefully that's something that helps you guys to create some productive time and foundations to give yourself the best chance of success. So this is just an example of a 16-hour work week and what it would look like to set up 6 to 8 appointments, right? So with you and where you are in this business, I recommend putting 75% of your time into getting new business, right? So that's those intro appointments, that's those business appointments and customer retention appointments, right? And even asking people for referrals. That's really where the majority of your time should be spent, right? Then you have 25% of your time that's spent actually planning for these activities and also working on some personal development. So let's say you're looking at a 16-hour work week. You're going to get 2 new appointments this week. You're going to have 2 customer retention appointments. You're going to talk to 1 person about the business. And don't worry about the coaching spots for right now, right? Unless you're just setting aside a time to work with, maybe you have a builder on your team that you want to take the stuff you're learning here and practice with them. Or you want to talk to your specific mentor outside of this call and say, hey, listen, this is what I'm doing. And what do you think about this, right? Or I want to practice this with you before I go do it here, okay? So those are a good way to spend your time, but you should not be spending a lot of your time in this coaching world because you really need to be bringing in new people consistently, right? Planning, of course, we got to plan our work time. We got to put those appointments on the books. We've got to add new people into our world, right? Who are going to be people that would be interested in oils or would be interested in creating an additional income and keep adding to that list. You're going to work on your personal development, and then you set aside a specific amount of time to go through messages, texts, emails, things like that, okay? So let's look at what the Premier rank itself looks like, right? So the Premier rank is where you have 2 legs of 2,000 and an overall 5,000. So that extra 1,000 that doesn't require structure can come from anywhere on your team. So in order for you to have Premier, right, of course, as a builder, you need to be running a monthly PV order of at least 100 PV. And of course, we recommend that you take advantage of the free product of the month and do 125 by the 15th of the month. Your monthly overall volume to hit the rank of Premier needs to be at 5,000. And again, structurally, you need to have 2 executive legs under you. So this is a really important rank because you want to set yourself up for profitability long term. So this is helping you to learn how to structure your organization, right? And, I think for us, this really gets our attention when people hit the rank of Premier, because that's letting us know they're really serious about building a business, because you're looking for business builders and you're structuring accordingly, right? That's why I have a whole separate group for just Premier and above leaders, because when you get to this point, I mean, it's like a sign, like I'm serious about creating an income here. So this is fantastic. So your volume can come from enrollment kits. It can come from different orders that are placed, even if they're retail. It can come from your personal sales and the sales of your team members. And it can also come from LRP orders. So what does it really mean to be Premier? And I talked a little bit about this, right? This tells us a lot, right? It tells us that you're building a team of leaders who are likely to build their own team of leaders. And this means your business is moving in the right direction and you know how to launch a business builder, right? So on average, this rank earns about $800 a month. But again, this is controllable based on how many people you personally enroll and collect Fast Start from each and every week. So the skills that you're looking to master here is we want you to be a master of teaching oils, right? That no matter what situation comes up, you can take that situation, you can set an appointment, and you can effectively teach someone, right? And you can maneuver through it flawlessly. We also want you to master the loyalty rewards program and the value that it brings to our customer base, right? So make sure that that's something that you think about. We also want you to get comfortable presenting the business opportunity to people. So we're going to talk a lot about that during this series. And we want you to know exactly how to launch new builders. How do you get them profitable? What do you say? What do you show them, right? Because it can be overwhelming. So we don't want to overwhelm people, but we want to get them moving and get them a check quickly. We also want you to get more familiar with how to place your new enrollments, because that becomes very specifically important when we go Premier and above. All those ranks, structure matters, right? And we also want to make sure when we're launching new builders that we can properly help coach them on where to place people that they're enrolling in their organization, so it sets them up structurally for success long term. So let's make a plan. Okay, so what you need to know is that you've got to decide, am I working this business part-time or am I working it full-time? And block aside daily time to dedicate towards building this business. The second question is, who are going to be your qualifiers to hit executive, right? Do you even have any, right? Do you have any builders on your team? If not, we want you to look through that list again and schedule some business presentations. You can also find a placeholder that can hold a spot in your organization that doesn't plan to build, so it gives you a place to position and place customers that you want to have structured in an appropriate way. And we're going to get more into that during this series. 1 in 8 are going to say yes to building. So do you know that of your 8 enrollments, right, when you enroll 8 people, and this is based on the assumption that you're inviting each of them to learn how to create an income with doTERRA, you're asking them if they have interest in that. 1 out of 8 is going to say yes to building. So if you feel like you have a lack of builders, then what you can control, right, is to go and get more enrollments, because then you're going to have more people to pull from who may have an interest in learning how to create an income with doTERRA. So I want you to set monthly goals and metrics that help you to reach Premier. So, what we're going to go over here in just a minute is I'm going to give you some specific strategy that's going to help you to be successful here and help you to plan your activity accordingly as you're setting up those appointments so that you can hit these ranks. So you need to, every week, create a weekly success schedule. So every week you can determine, what does success look like for me this week, right? And we want to make sure that you're touching on the core pieces, right? Who am I teaching about oils? Who am I following up with to do a wish list appointment? Who am I presenting the business to, right? And then again, that coaching is decided for you. If you feel like if you have team members that you need to share it with, or if you are yourself wanting to practice some of the skills you're learning here or go over it with your mentor. So you need to look at your success schedule and say, okay, this week, let's say this week you're like, I have 10 hours I can dedicate towards doTERRA, right? So my intro to oil appointments right now, I'm going to give myself an hour for those because I want to give myself a buffer, right? So let's say you get 2 of those, right? So I want to have 2 intro to oils I want to have 2 wish list appointments, and let's say you do the same thing. That's 4 hours already. 5 hours is a business presentation. I want to have 1 business presentation, right? And I'm going to meet with my person, which is 6, my coach, or I'm going to be doing this call or whatever, right? So that's 6 hours right there. So you would have an additional, 4 hours that you could spend on planning and setting appointments, right? Getting your schedule set up and making sure that you're prospecting to add to your list, and possibly even reaching out to people to set up these appointments, right? You got to schedule time for that, to reach out and set up the appointments, and even asking people to have classes or send you referrals. It's huge, right? So that's the planning portion. Now, what are you personally going to contribute? What are your goals each week for how many new customers you're going to add, how many new people you're going to be launching in the business, and how many referrals you're going to get, right? Or how many close classes you're going to have someone else host for you. So have goals around this each week so that it helps you to stay extremely focused, right? You're going to be a lot more focused and diligent if you have specific goals each week that are going to ultimately lead to the goals that you want to have of hitting Premier and beyond, right? And then if you have a team, right, if you have people underneath you that you're working with, what does your profit look like that you want to get for the month of February, right? Or the month of March, whatever it is, right? For that next month, what's your profit goal? And what is your team goal? Like, how much OV do you want to get? Remember, that rank of Premier has an OV of 5,000. So how are you structuring that, right? Where's that coming from? How many new customers do you want to be launched? You have your personal goal, but what about for your team? How's everybody doing? And that's a good thing to ask them, right? When you're talking, if you have team members, how many new customers do you want to have this month? So that your goal for your team is matching what your team is willing to do and what their goals are, right? And then one thing that will help you lock in security in your organization is to start thinking about how many team members you want to have that have at least 4 customers under them, right? So think about it in terms of helping people build their own business, right? And that's going to help you think of structuring and developing leaders and identifying those people. And if this feels overwhelming to you, take the pieces that resonate, right? The most important pieces are these first 2, right? Where you're planning productively and you're also taking some personal responsibility as to what you're going to contribute to your team. So again, this is what a Premier organization looks like. Typically, there's about 25 or more people team-wide to reach this rank, okay? So when we're looking at placement of your enrollments, and again, we're going to go through a lot more specifics around this, but you think about level 1, that's where you want your business partners to be, right? You want those people that are working the business with you to be structured directly under you. People that are going to be maybe sharers, right? They might build here and there. They might share with their friends and family, or maybe they want to build on a shorter term basis. Those would be really good people to structure on your second level. And then putting your customers that just want to be wholesale customers on your third level and below is ideal for the way to structure your business. So because we don't want you to just hit Premier once because you had a good volume month, right? We want you to hit Premier and beyond and be solid, right? I think about being solid as like, I don't even have to worry about it. It's going to happen no matter what. So as we talked about, 1 out of every 8 enrollments could be a builder, okay? That's statistically speaking. And if you look at every builder and what their contribution is to your team's volume, right? I usually think of every builder being between 1,000 and 1,500 in volume, that they will contribute to a certain leg. So this is just helping me to kind of think about how many builders I need, per elite leg, right? So I'm probably going to need 2 to 3 builders per elite leg, which is 3,000 in overall volume, in order for that organization to be solid and continuing to grow and develop, right, and progress. So for you, as you're thinking about executive legs, because as a Premier, remember, you have 2 executive legs, right? And then you have to have at least another 1,000 in volume coming from somewhere. So if you're thinking about that, then that means that each of those executive legs, in order to hit executive and to consistently hit executive, they're each going to need 2 builders, right? if we're giving 1,000 to 1,500 in volume assigned to one builder, right? So, sorry. Hold on. Okay, let's see if this will come back to me. Sorry, you guys. Oh, there it goes. All right. So as we go back to this, so we want to identify one builder per leg, okay, at least, right? So when we're doing that, that means we need to get 8 enrollments to find one builder. So if we need 2 builders in this leg and 1 builder in this leg, we're going to need to get 16 enrollments here to identify 2 builders, and we're going to need to get 8 enrollments here to identify 1 builder, right? So work with the leaders that you have to decide who's going to find the builders that are needed, okay? So your income goal, their income goal is their job, right? Your income goal and rank goal is your job. So let's look at some examples. Now, again, this is talking about a lot of strategy, so I don't want you guys to feel overwhelmed by this as I go through it, okay? If this is overwhelming to you, then just check out for a minute, okay? You can go back and listen. So let's say that I want to hit Premiere by the end of February, okay? This is my goal. Let's just say that, all right? So I have 2 people in place. I have Amy and I have Bree, right? And so that's what my structure currently looks like. So here's Amy, okay? Amy hits about 1,000 PV every month. So she's short 1,000 of getting to that executive leg. Right now, she has 1 builder and she needs 1 builder. So Becky has a new builder, right? And that builder can contribute about 1,000 and she needs to find 1 builder. So Amy, I talked to Amy and Amy says, you know what? I'm going to find a builder for that leg. I'm going to find a builder for my leg. I'm looking for another builder. I want to set up for Premiere also, right? So she needs to get at least 8 enrollments on her organization to be able to find that 1 builder. So as she's planning, right, her month or her week, she's going to think about how she can get in front of 8 people to enroll and invite 8 people to see if they want to learn how to create an income with doTERRA, okay? So then I've got Bree. And Bree's volume is only 200 PV. So really her shortage is 1,800 in overall volume to get to that rank of executive. So she needs 2 builders, okay? So Bree, I talked to her about it. You know, we're going through this for herself. And I say, how many builders do you want to find, right? And she's like, I can definitely find 1. So that means Bree needs to look to get 8 enrollments if she wants to find that 1 builder, right? In the next few weeks. And then I'm like, okay, I'll find the other one. So I'll be looking for a builder that we can slide under your organization. So that means that I'm responsible for putting 8 enrollments, right, under Bree and looking for a builder out of that, okay? So then I also know that that gets me to 4,000, right? But I need an additional 1,000 to get to that 5,000 in overall volume to hit Premiere. So my shortage is 1,000 PV, which means I need another builder. So I can place additional customers under the other 2 builders, right? Or I can look to find 1 builder as my 3rd leg. So I know that I'm going to need to get 8 enrollments. I could do that in 2 classes, or I could do 5 one-on-ones and a class, right? And I'm contributing that to my 3rd leg, or to either structure and help my other 2 legs get stronger, right? If I end up going through this and I don't find somebody that I know I want to be a business partner, then I might just structure that under Bree or Amy. So here's my summary, right? Let's say, and I don't know that this would take me 4 months, this might be my 1-month plan, right? You could identify whatever you want. But I know that my team, in order to get my team to Premiere, we need to find 4 builders. I have contributed, I've assigned myself, right, that I will be willing to get 2 of those 4 builders. And I'm going to put 1 under Bree and I'm looking for one for my third leg because I know that I want to ultimately be silver long term. But again, if I don't find someone I feel really good about being a business partner for myself that I want there, then I can structure it under Bree or under Amy, okay? And then I can also say, okay, Amy said she's going to find the one that she's missing, and Bree said she's going to find an additional one to put under her leg. So because we need to find 4 new builders for our team, that means 4 times 8, right? If we get 1 builder out of every 8 enrollments, 8 times 4 is 32. So our team needs to get 32 enrollments. And let's say we want to do it in 2 months, not 4. We're like, you know what? Let's get this done in 2 months. That means that my team enrollments need to be 16 a month, right? And for me, because I've dedicated to get 2 of those builders, that means I need to get a total of 16 enrollments in 2 months. So 16 divided by 2 is 8. So I need to average 8 enrollments a month to hopefully set myself up for success to find these builders, right? So can you see how going through this is allowing me to work backwards, right? So I'm seeing this as a whole picture, and then I'm saying, okay, I know I need to get 8 enrollments this month. How am I going to get 8 enrollments this month? And then as I'm looking at my weeks, I can plan out what activities I need to have on the books, right? How many new appointments? How many retention appointments? How many recruiting appointments to expose the business that I need to set up week by week to help me reach this goal, right? And of course, I'm always probably going to put in a buffer where I'm scheduling a little extra to make sure that I reach these goals. So you can see that sometimes it might feel overwhelming to think, oh my goodness, how am I going to get to Premier? But the best thing you can do is really dissect your organization. Take it apart and look at what is needed. And if you need help doing that, reach out to your mentor, right? Or just go back through this video so that you can say, okay, what did she say again, right? Pause, rewind, go through it, and help you really map out a plan to reach this. Now, of course, one of my top strengths is strategic, right? So I love looking at things this way. If this isn't something that is resonating with you, right, and you're kind of just like, oh, well, I'm just going to kind of do this, I'm just going to tell you that unless you get some kind of a definite plan, you can't just like fly by the night, right? You may not have it as detailed as this, but you need to have it semi-detailed so that you're setting yourself up for success. And I recommend aligning yourself with someone who is strategic, who knows how to do this to help you create a plan if you don't feel like that's in your strength base, okay? So again, why do we do this, right? We want to get clarity on what it takes to really be a premier, not just hit it once, right? We want to know what it's going to take to be a premier, where we're hitting that rank month in and month out, and we're setting ourselves up to move to push to the next one, right? We also want to have an ability to create an actual actionable plan to meet your goals. Not just like, well, I hope this works out, right? No, like I'm setting myself up for the best chance of success possible. It also is really helping you to know where to place your enrollments and your new builders, right? As we look at this, didn't you see clarity of where things needed to be placed? Now imagine I go and I enroll 4 people. I know exactly where I'm putting those because of what my commitments were with my team through those conversations. Break this down into weekly goals and daily appointments so you know that you're investing your time into the right steps to progress towards your goals. Okay, so part of this, right, is like, you're like, Jessica, this is awesome. And I mean, I can do out the numbers and I can create this plan, but how am I getting all these appointments, right? And we have a whole call that's dedicated just towards getting appointments. You can even go in the launch series and you can go through my section on setting up appointments. But what I want you to do as we're looking at this is we're going to talk about how you can set up appointments right now this week to have a full calendar for next month, okay, so that you're starting off on the right track. You can even probably fill in some appointments for the rest of this month. So we want to have a full calendar of income producing activities based on how many hours you can work per week, right? Make a list of everyone you know, kind of like I went through. Best next step for this person. You're going to get another list going, right? That's using the memory jogger. of all your followings. And then here's the key. You're going to set a timer for 25 minutes each day to set up appointments until you have a full month of events. Okay? So you've got to commit yourself to that action that you'll take 25 minutes at least each day to set up appointments until your calendar is booked, right? And again, honestly, then you're going to do the same thing the next month to make sure the following month is booked or the 2 months out is booked, okay? So I'm going to go through some verbiage here that I would use to set up intro to oil appointments, okay? And again, what I want you to do with this is so my goal, and when I give you guys scripts, is to just give you a base, and then you take that and you make it your own. Like even for me, I don't say exactly what's on here. I'm going to make it my own with the way I'd say it using those exact steps, okay? So what do you already know about essential oils? What I usually do is set up an appointment to go over your specific health goals, a little bit about how they work, and the most popular kits. My part will take about 30 to 40 minutes. You don't have to buy anything, but if you see something you like, of course, I'll help you order it. Is this something you'd be open to? Now, could you call someone or send a text that says that? Or, hey, listen, I know I love essential oils. I'm really passionate about teaching people about it. What do you already know about it? Right? And then you wait for them to answer. And then what I usually do is set up an appointment to go over your specific health goals, a little bit about how they work and the most popular kits. It takes about 30 minutes. You don't have to buy anything, but if you like something, I can help you order it. Is that something you'd be open to do? Right? Easy. Okay? And then if they say yes, then you're going to give them 2 choices for times that they can meet. Right? Which is better for you? If we leave it open, people won't choose something. So we've got to give 2 times. And in order to give 2 times, what's that require of you? You've got to be organized to know when you can actually meet. And again, when you have that organization set up, this is going to allow you, right, the space to know when and where and give specifics when you're doing these invitations to set up appointments, okay? So again, you can take this and you can tweak it based on who you're talking to, right? Another one, as we're setting up that consult or that wish list appointment, I want to make sure you know exactly how to order your products on your own and get as much free stuff as possible. The next step would be to set up a quick call to make a wish list for yourself. I'll show you how to order and how to get the most free product possible with your wholesale account. There's kind of an art to it. It takes about 30 to 40 minutes, and the goal will be for you to be able to order on your own anytime you want. Okay? Same thing. How does that sound to you? And then we give them 2 times, right? We have to do follow-ups with people. I personally love using Zoom as a platform for that because it keeps me timely, right? But we have to make sure, ideally, we're setting this up after we've enrolled people, right? But if not, if you miss that window, go back through that list of people you've enrolled and set up a time to do a wish list appointment. Next, the verbiage to set up a business overview. And again, I went live and told you guys about this. I don't want to make any assumptions, so I'm going to ask, would you like to learn how to create an income with doTERRA? What I usually do is set up an appointment to go over what you'd want to get out of it, what exactly you would need to do, how our compensation plan works, and what it takes to get started. We should plan on about an hour, but we could finish sooner. If you want to move forward, I can help you with that. And if not, no big deal. At least you will have made the most informed decision. How does that sound to you? Right? So maybe this list of people that you're talking to are power users. And the next step is to see if they have any interest in earning an income with doTERRA. I ask this to everybody, every single person. When we're enrolling those 8 people and we're trying to feel out who's going to be our builder out of that, we have to ask. Hey, listen, I always ask everybody because I don't want to make assumptions. Would you like to hear about how to create an income with doTERRA? Right? Do you have interest in learning how to make money with doTERRA? You can say it whatever way fits you. And then as soon as they answer, if they say no problem. I always ask everyone, and should that ever change, I want you to know I'm totally available to teach you how to create an income here. I know that it might not be the right time for you, but what I'd love to do is I usually try to only work with people I know or people I've been referred to. So can you think of people that you can connect me with that I can teach about essential oils and potentially the opportunity to create an income, right? And that moves us again. So if they say no, then what do we try to transition to? We try to transition into referrals, right? And we always leave the window open for people to be able to reach back out to us and change their mind, because it happens, right? Especially after they've been using their product. So again, when we do this, if they do say yes, we give them those 2 time options to go through it. Now, when we talk about referrals, and this is the last script I'm going to give you, this is great to use with brand new people. This is great to use with people you love, right? That would want to help you launch your business and get started because they care about you, right? This is awesome for people, again, that are power users that we can reach back out to. So we need to have a referral system in place, and we're going to go through more of that in this series. But what I want you to know is how you can ask people for referrals, because as you're looking through that list of people and as you're setting up appointments for your month, I want you to think about who could connect you with 5 people or who could host a class for you, right? And would they be open to that? And I don't want you to make assumptions. I want you to ask. So this is something that I'd say. I thought about you today as I rolled out a new referral program. I know you love your oils, and I'm sure you've talked to your friends about them. And I thought you'd want to know how to get some free product for connecting us. I prefer to work with people I know or those that I've been referred to. If you connect me to 5 people, right, who are nice and care about their health, or host a class with 5 or more people, you qualify for the free product. They don't have to be people you think will for sure buy something, just people who are nice and care about their health, right? For every 5 people you connect me with, I will give you a free custom roller bottle, right? Custom to your needs. If you host a class with 5 or more people, I'll give you a free pedal diffuser. Do you want to write down 5 people to connect me with, or would you be more interested in hosting a class? So that's how we're going to ask people. And again, like this is obviously, I'm talking to someone who's used oils or is ordering oils, because this is where I use this a lot. But I also can say, hey, listen, you know, I love my oils. I rolled out a new referral program today. I thought about you, and where you can actually earn some free products for connecting me with people who may be interested in learning about how these oils can benefit their family. I work to work with people I know or who have been referred to me. If you connect me with 5 people, then I'll hook you up with a custom roller bottle. If you host a class for me, 5 or more people, then I'll give you this awesome free pedal diffuser that you can use in your home with your oils, right? Which sounds better to you? Would you rather connect me with 5 people or host a class and get a free diffuser? So just whatever sounds like you, make it yours, okay? And you can tweak the words around. You can also ask them what's better for you. Like if they're connecting you with the 5 people, you know, let's get in a loop right away, right, with those people. Or they can give you their information and you create that loop with the 3 of you. And that tends to work better because then you're initiating that and you have a little bit more control about when it happens. All right, so as we come to the end here, this is what I want you to do over the next week or the time left, right, to set up for a month full of appointments next month, right? We're going to schedule out what you're actually doing right now. You're going to be honest with yourself, write it down, and based on that list, you're going to eliminate the things that do not matter and keep the things that you know do matter. Use that list, right, that I put up here. That is going to help you to do that and give you that clear picture of what you need to make sure you're doing and what you need to eliminate that are distractions, okay? Then I want you to set daily work hours and create that space for appointments in those 3 key areas, right? Intro to oils, wish list appointments, and business appointments, right? So again, your coaching for now is going to be listening to the weekly calls and practicing skills with either your builder or the builders on your team. I mean, your mentor or the builders on your team. And then using these scripts, which I will post in our Facebook group, right? I want you to tweak them to where it sounds like you. And then I want you to set a 25-minute timer every day and just blitz people until you have a full calendar of events for February, okay? or for whatever the next month is. Whenever you're watching this, whatever the next month is, I want you to have a full calendar of events planned. So you can use and leverage this way of doing things to dedicate time maybe towards each of those. Maybe you spend 25 minutes on Monday trying to get intro appointments. Maybe you spend 25 minutes on Tuesday trying to get follow-up appointments set. Maybe you spend 25 minutes on Wednesday trying to get business appointments set. And then on Thursday, you spend 25 minutes getting people to host classes for you because you'll know what your calendar looks like. So hopefully this is helpful for y'all. The goal of this is, again, that you're set up for success in having those core business things planned and on the books so that you're ready to rock. And I can tell you, like, this is the last slide here, discipline is what's going to unlock your future. We have to be disciplined in the things that matter most. We have to be disciplined in the way we feel. We have to be disciplined in what we're doing. And we have to be disciplined in the way we think, okay? Because you have to know that you can be successful here, all right? Let's look at the chat window and see what questions we have so I can answer any of them. Okay, really good. Alexa and I set up a kid swap once a week with some friends, and we took all the kids 1 week each, so about once a month. That's awesome. You can control that, right? You can dedicate 2 hours. That's a great tip. Yes, the name of those apps that I use are called Word Swag, W-O-R-D, and then Swag, S-W-A-G, and then Canva, C-A-N-V-A. So those are the two apps that I use for creating graphics, so you can do it quick. Okay, love this. Awesome. Okay, it looks like there's no other questions. Kelsey, I love all your comments. It's perfect. And I love that you're excited. Let's see, one more question here. I know, the buffers. We got to make sure we put those buffers in. Let's see, a couple more coming in here. I want to give you guys time to write. Thanks for participating. Okay, how would start these calls for people who have no idea I'm doing oils, right? So I think we just have to say it. Like, hey, you guys, I just wanted to let you know I've started a business. I'm teaching people about essential oils, and I would really love your support. I have a great referral system that if you connect me with 5 people who are nice and care about their health, or maybe even host a class with a group of 5 or more people who are nice and care about their health, I would love that. And that way, it helps me work with people I know or people I've been referred to, and that's really what I try to stick with. So would you be open to connecting me with 5 people, or would you prefer to host a class? And I just ask them, like, think about how many times, if somebody asked you to help them launch their business, right? Wouldn't you do it? I mean, even as busy as I am, I would do something for people. I would give them referrals, or I'd have an event for them because I care about people and I know how important it is to launch their business successfully, right? So just ask people. It doesn't hurt to ask. If they say no, that's okay. Just keep going, right? What's been the success with backtracking and asking old enrollees about the business? Actually, I feel like that's where I have a ton of success because those are people who already know the products, right? They've been using them for a while. They know a little bit about the company. They've worked with me. And if I've done a good job with them, then they're usually more open to listening to the business opportunity. In fact, recently I've had 3 people come on and start doing the business who were just former power users. And again, it's not always the right time, but I've asked them, on a couple of different occasions, and then the time was right? I had one that reached out to me because the timing had become right. And so we never want to make those assumptions. So just make sure that you are asking. It doesn't hurt to ask, but I would say that more likely than not, they're either going to come and join the business or they will have a class for me, right? Or connect me with some people. Most people have a class for me. And that's how I get in front of their contacts. And again, when they host that class for me, it gives me that opportunity again to say, is this something that you want to earn commissions from, or do you want my referral gift of a diffuser? Sometimes after they see it play out, they're a little bit more open to creating that income because they're like, oh, this went pretty well. I wasn't sure how it was going to go. And now like my guard's down a little bit, like thinking it wasn't going to be very good. So again, we just continue to ask and get clarity and never assume. Good question, Amanda. So my assumption in the example was that we had a builder, okay? If you don't have any, that's okay. What I recommend for you, Tracy, is to get a placeholder that you can structure volume under so that you're at least setting your organization up structurally for success. And I know that Mindy can help you do that successfully. So I have 2 legs with 8,000 and another with less than 1,000, but I didn't enroll with anyone, okay? So that's something important, right? So that's a really good point that I didn't bring up. So in order to hit Premier, or any rank for that matter, that requires structure, you have to be the enroller of those legs. So for you, Joanna, what you can do is you can now look for people to build with you that you have enrollership of, and you won't need that buffer, right? The buffer is always going to be there for you. So I would just start looking for people that you can build to that executive level. And then you'll always have that other volume, which is fantastic for your unilevel check, right? And you want to make sure that you're starting to hit ranks also, because there may be levels in the compensation plan and in your organization that you're not getting paid on, right? Because you just have a massive elite organization. Where if you start building and you identify 2 other legs to get to Premier, you're going to get paid down 6 levels instead of just 5, right? And then if you get a 3rd one to hit silver, then you'll get to capture all 7 levels of payout within your whole organization so that your check can increase significantly. And hopefully that helps. I'm not sure if enrollership can be switched of any of those people, but that would be a conversation you'd have to have with your enroller. But ultimately, that's still going to benefit you even if their enrollerships can't switch to you, right? You still have the benefit of having that buffer volume that is creating a nice check for you, and you can start capturing more of it, right, by building a Premier and Silver organization with new enrollments of your own. So if you are targeting a business, right, you could use a lot of those same scripts and just tweak it a little bit based on the business you're talking to. So for example, you brought up a Pilates studio. So what I would say is, if we're doing the intro to oils here, hey, what do you guys already know about essential oils? This is my business. And what I usually do is set up appointments to teach people, go over people's health goals, teach them a little bit about the products and how they can find a lot of benefit from our most popular products and kits. They don't have to buy anything, but if they see something they like, I'll help them get it. It takes about 30 to 40 minutes. And if you think you have a lot of people that would be interested, or if we get a lot of interest from people, then you can obviously set up a time and I'll come and teach a class in your studio, right? So you can offer, right, that free advertising to have classes in their studio. You could even say, would you have an interest in creating an income? This is a piece of income that you receive along with your Pilates studio. So we can ask those questions and have those conversations just by tweaking it a small amount, but keeping those same principles. So when it comes to what's most effective, you have to think about who you're talking to. So of course, calling people and talking to them over the phone is a great way. You're having that connection, and a lot of times it's harder for people to blow you off when you're asking them live in person, okay? Texting is also a great way because people open their texts. So if I were to get a voicemail from someone, I would say, hey, it's Jessica with doTERRA, and I might say a little something, and then I would say, I'm going to send you a text about it because I know that I don't check my voicemails very often, so I wanted to make sure I communicated the information to you. So if I got a voicemail, then I would send them a text right after, okay? So hopefully that helps. I think whatever you are willing to do it, right? Of course, if you can talk to people live, it's always fantastic. Just go ask them, Amanda. That's right. I love it. Okay, what do you mean by retention appointments? When I mean by retention appointments, when we think of retention is people that are on loyalty rewards. So those are that follow-up appointment that you're doing to go through people's wholesale account, help them create a wish list of things they might want, set up their LRP, right, and know how to navigate through their account. Okay, so that's what a retention appointment is. And your goal with those is that people get on the loyalty rewards program. Okay, so where would you start with people who have had their overview but have still not ordered, right? So what I would do with those people is I would just reach back out and say, hey, listen, I know we haven't touched base in a while. I wanted to make sure that you're using your oils and that you don't have any questions for me. I know that when we met, and maybe if you have, like, usually I keep notes on people, right, of things that were hot topics for them. I wanted to let you know, I just wanted to let you know I'm a resource, or I'm having this event, or I'd love to set up a time, or you could ask for referrals, right? And that's a way for you to get back in front of them. So I also love that when people haven't ordered in a while and I can get them to do a class for me, it's cool because it gets them excited about the oils again. Because it's like they haven't been around that, right? They need an event to come to like re-spark that interest. So those are just some ideas of people who haven't ordered since you enrolled them. I'm glad this was helpful to see it laid out. I know it's sometimes it can feel overwhelming to look at it, but I'd rather you see it and kind of process it so that you know how to strategize within your business. The extra 1,000 in overall volume doesn't have to come from your front line. It can come from a third leg. Yes, it counts from anywhere, right? That extra 1,000, like you could have one of your legs that is elite and one that's executive, so it totals 5,000, right? And as long as you hold enrollership of those two people, then you can hit Premier that way. Okay, when we talk about people that are out of town, do you find more success with FaceTime versus phone calls versus Zoom to set them up and get equipped with business tools and feeling part of our team? So actually most of what I do anymore and has been for the last year is on Zoom. So I set everything up that way. And I have a lot of contacts from the East Coast that I grew up with that are now starting to kind of come in, right? I've been doing this long enough that people are starting to get some trust there in what I'm doing and in the products. And so I am setting up Zooms with people. I also live in California, so driving 20 miles here could take 3 hours. So a lot of times we leverage Zoom as a way to connect with people where they can be in their pajamas, they can do it once the kids are gone to bed, or they don't have to leave their physical space, and it actually works better, okay? So my recommendation for out-of-towners is to utilize Zoom as your resource. And with Zoom, you can get a free 30 minutes of looking each other. You can get a free account, right? You can see each other for 30 minutes, and then the camera just goes off, but you can still talk, okay? So that's kind of good to help keep you to your timeline, right? And you can share your screen on here. I love it because on their end, they can also share their screen. So they can show me like them logging in and they're doing it during a wish list appointment or that customer retention appointment. I'm not doing it. So they're learning how to navigate the system and do their loyalty rewards order. And then, when people are just starting, we add them to the community of Oil Authority. We want to be careful with new builders to make sure they're getting some appointments under their belt and getting some success before we just throw them into diamonds in the making, because that's a pretty intense environment, right? So just getting their feet wet a little bit before we inundate them. It's like throwing the baby to the wolves. Don't do that. Okay, let's see. I do have one placeholder. I'm trying to figure out the other. I would have conversations, Tracy. Have those conversations because you're looking to really move forward. This is a good time to have conversations with people who weren't really doing anything before, but now like I'm ready to knock this out of the park. So you can regroup with people to have those conversations like, hey, do you want to create an income with doTERRA? Is this something you're interested in? I'm ready to move. I'm ready to build. I'm looking for business partners. And do you want to learn about it? Having that regroup session with people and those conversations again, even if you've already had them, a year ago. That way you'll feel clarity and how to move forward. Yeah, the nice thing about hitting Premier, and this is going to happen, and I know you guys are working towards it, but it's a great time to take advantage of the empowerment bonus, right? So by getting one new personal enrollment a month at least and hitting the rank of Premier, you get to tap into one of the leadership pools from doTERRA. So you get an extra $200 a month simply by doing that. Do you ever ask a new enroller who is a friend if they would mind being a wellness advocate so you could start building under them up front? Absolutely, Ruth. I would 100% do that. That's having that placeholder, especially if they're continually ordering. Just have that conversation, but just make sure when you do have that conversation that you know exactly what the expectations are and that they know what they are. Like, what is their role and what is your role? So let's say they're a placeholder for you, and they run their monthly order and they get checks until you find someone that is going to be a builder for you and you want to put them in that spot, right? So you just need to make sure that you're clearly communicating whatever you want that space to encompass and the role of each person. Okay. How would I ask for referrals via text? I would do this exact thing, right? I would say, hey, I rolled out a new referral program. I know you love your oils and you probably talked to your friends and family about it. I thought you'd want to know about the free products for connecting us. I really want to only work with people I know or have been referred to. So you have two choices, right? You can connect me with 5 people who you think would be interested in learning or care about their health, or you can host a class for me and get a free diffuser, right? And you could go ahead and give your things to just condense that. So it's, interested, and then just say, which would you prefer, right? Don't say like, do you want to do that? Just say, which would you prefer to do? So you're assuming they're going to say yes and they're going to pick one. But I definitely believe that you can do that via text. You can probably print out the slides, I would think. I don't know about that, but we'll figure out a reason. I'm going to post them up. I'm going to post the slides up as pictures on the Premier group so that you guys will have them in front of you. All right. Okay, so Anna, I kind of just went over what I would say. Maybe not that whole thing, right, but kind of condense that referral text. So really good questions, you guys. The questions make it, and that way I know I'm meeting your needs. We're so excited for you guys to just really get things going here. We want you to have a full calendar so that you can maximize your time, right? And have yourself set up for success. So hopefully these are some things that are easy. So on the Facebook group, I'm going to post the memory jogger, and I'm going to post the scripting for these 4 appointments. And I hope you guys really will go through the activities that we set today. I'll list those out again so you remember what to do. And again, I'll put the recording up so you can come back to this if you need to listen through anything. I hope this was helpful for y'all, and we look forward to our next call. So remember to just look at the Facebook group. We'll be advertising when that next call is, but this gives you a little bit of time to set up some appointments. Okay? Bye-bye, y'all.